Well, hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Tina and welcome to Tidy Up with Tina, and I'm so glad that you are here for another video. So I hope everybody had an amazing Christmas and New Year's. I know that I did. I just feel very blessed for just being able to spend time with family, and I'm thankful just for everything that I got this year, and I'm just thankful to God to being able to make it to 2025 and to be able to just keep on trekking along in 2025. So that leads me into today's video. I thought that would be fun to do a Bible study. I thought it would be a fun idea just to start the new year off right by doing a Bible study together. I actually got a new Bible, which I'm really excited about. And this is the ESV Journaling Bible from Crossways. I got this off of TikTok, but I know you can get it other places. But I just think it's so pretty. I love like the vintage like flower pattern that is on here. And I put my Bible tabs in here. I got these from the Hallmark store, but you can also get these literally anywhere. But I am just very excited. I've been wanting to get closer to Christ this year, and I've been studying out of the King James Version, but I just don't really like that. And at my old church, my pastor used the ESV version, so I decided to, get the ESV because I can understand it. So without any more interruptions, let's just get into the word. So I was reading out Jonah this morning, and I got some good things out of it. So I thought that we would read it together. It's just really short. So I thought that we could just read it together and give you my thoughts on it. And if you're taking notes, maybe you can get some notes out of this. Now the word of the Lord came to Jonah, the son of Amittai, saying, "Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and call it against it, for their evil has come up before me." But Jonah rose to flee the Tarshish from the presence of the Lord. He went to Joppa and found a ship going to Tarshish. So he paid the fare and went down into it to go with them to Tarshish, away from the presence of the Lord. But the Lord hurled a great wind upon the sea, and there was a mighty tempest on the sea, so that the ship threatened to break up. Then the mariners were afraid, and each cried out to his God. And they hurled the cargo that was in the ship into the sea to lighten it for them. But Jonah had gone down into the inner part of the ship, and had lain down and was fast asleep. So the captain came and said to him, "What do you mean, you sleeper? Arise, call out to your God. Perhaps the God that will give a thought to us, that we may not perish." And they said to one another, "Come, let us cast lots, that we may know on whose account this evil that has come upon us." So they cast lots, and the lot fell on Jonah. Then they said to him, "Tell us on whose account this evil has come upon us. What is your occupation, and where do you come from? What is your country, and of what people are you?" And he said to them, "I am a Hebrew, and I fear the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land." Then the men were exceedingly afraid and said to him, "What is it that you have done?" For the men knew that he was fleeing from the presence of the Lord, because he had told them. Then they said to him, "What shall we do to you, that the sea might quiet down for us?" For the sea grew more and more tempestuous. He said to them, "Pick me up and hurl me into the sea. Then the sea will quiet down for you. For I know it is because of me that this great tempest has come upon you." Nevertheless, the men rowed hard to get back to dry land. But they could not, for the sea grew more and more tempestuous against them. Therefore they called out to the Lord, "O Lord, let us not perish for this man's life, and lay not on us innocent blood. For you, O Lord, have done as it pleased you." So they picked up Jonah and hurled him into the sea, and the sea ceased from its raging. Then the men feared the Lord exceedingly, and they offered a sacrifice to the Lord and made vows. Then Jonah and the Lord appointed a great fish to swallow up Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. Then Jonah prayed to the Lord his God from the belly of the fish, saying, I called out to the Lord out of my distress, and he answered me. Out of the belly of Sheol I cried, and you heard my voice. For you cast me into the deep, into the heart of the seas, and the flood surrounded me. All your waves and your billows passed over me. Then I said, I am driven away from your sight, yet I shall again look upon your holy temple. The waters closed in over me to take my life. The deep surrounded me. Weeds were wrapped around my head at the roots of the mountain. I went down to the land whose bars closed upon me forever. Yet you brought up my life from the pit, O Lord my God. When my life was fading away, I remembered the Lord, and my prayer came to you in your holy temple. Those who pay regard to vain idols forsake their hope of steadfast love. But I, with the voice of thanksgiving, will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed, I will pay. Salvation belongs to the Lord. And the Lord spoke to the fish, and it vomited Jonah upon the dry land. Then the word of the Lord came to Jonah the second time, saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, the great city, and call out against it the message that I tell you. So Jonah arose and went to Nineveh, according to the word of the Lord. Now Nineveh was an exceedingly great city, 3 days' journey in breadth. Jonah began to go into the city, going a day's journey, and he called out, Yet 40 days, and Nineveh shall be overthrown. And the people of Nineveh believed God. They called for a fast and put on sackcloth, from the greatest of them to the least of them. The word reached the king of Nineveh, and he arose from his throne, removed his robe, covered himself with sackcloth, and sat in ashes. And he issued a proclamation and published through Nineveh. By the decree of the king and his nobles, let neither man nor beast, herd nor flock, taste anything. Let them not feed or drink water, but let man and beast be covered with sackcloth, and let them call out mightily to God. Let everyone turn from his evil way and from the violence that is in his hands. Who knows, God may turn and relent and turn from his fierce anger, so that we may not perish. When God saw what they did, how they turned from their evil way, God relented of the disaster that he had said he would do them, and he did not do it. But it displeased Jonah exceedingly, and he was angry. And he prayed to the Lord and said, O Lord, is this not what I said when I was yet in my country? That is why I made haste to flee to Tarshish, for I knew that you are a gracious God and merciful, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love, and relenting from disaster. Therefore now, O Lord, please take my life from me, for it is better for me to die than to live. And the Lord said, Do you do well to be angry? Jonah went out to the city and sat to the east of the city and made a booth for himself there. He sat under it in the shade till he should see what would become of the city. Now the Lord God appointed a plant and made it come up over Jonah, that it might be a shade over his head, to save him from his discomfort. So Jonah was exceedingly glad because of the plant. But when dawn came up the next day, God appointed a worm that attacked the plant so that it withered. When the sun rose, God appointed a scorching east wind, and the sun beat down on the head of Jonah so that he was faint. And he asked that he might die, and said, It is better for me to die than to live. But God said to Jonah, Do you do well to be angry for the plant? And he said, Yes, I do well to be angry enough to die. And the Lord said, You pity the plant for which you did not labor, nor did you make it grow, which came into being in a night, and perished it in a night. And should not I pity Nineveh, that great city, in which there are more than 120,000 persons who do not know their right hand from their left, and also much cattle? I really like this. I really feel like it just has a good message. You know, Jonah feared the Lord, and he at first wasn't very faithful, but when hard times came, he cried to God and he talked to him. And, I think that can apply to us. Sometimes, we get angry because things aren't going our way, you know, this happened or this happened, and we feel like we're in turmoil. But if we cry out to God, and when we cry out to God and talk to him, he is right there. He will help us. He will fight whatever we're facing. You know, he will make it better. And he puts us in situations that are hard and awful, like he did Jonah, putting him in, you know, first, you know, the ship, you know, it was, you know, on the verge of sinking. And then he puts him in the belly of the fish. And, you know, he was there for 3 days and 3 nights. And that made Jonah turn to God and say, all right, God, I'm done with all this hardship. I'm going to do what you tell me to do. And he does it. And he went to Nineveh and he told people of God, and people turned to God. And but yet he was still angry. And I think sometimes, you know, we get angry because we can't see the good of whatever is going to come out of the situation that we are in. I know there's been times in my life, especially in the past few months, that I've been facing some hard things. And I have prayed and prayed and prayed to God, you know, what do I need to do? What is going on in this situation? And he, you know, God isn't always quick to answer like he did with Jonah. Sometimes it takes patience. Sometimes it could take months. It could take years. We can never have our questions answered. But in the time that it takes, there are blessings that come from everything, and we may not always see it until later. And, you know, God uses hard times to get us to wake up and open our eyes and be like, all right, I faced that tough challenge. I tried to do it myself. I can't do it by myself. I need God. And that's where I've been in my life the past few months. I have been dealing with so much in my personal life and tried to deal with it on my own. And I realized I can't. I need God. I need his help in my life. And I need him more than what anybody could ever know. You know, I was angry for a while with God, with what was going on in my life. And I realized what was going on in my life, it's not because of God. It's because of circumstances that I have put myself in. And God wants to help me overcome those things. Like he wants to help you overcome things. And so I think it's important to remember that when we were put on this earth, we were not promised a perfect life. We were not promised that things were going to be easy. And we need to remember that in the hard times, in the good times, in the sad times, whatever it may be, just to always look to the Lord and talk to him. And he will help us. He will help us get through every trial, every circumstance, whatever it is. And I am so thankful for my salvation. And I'm just so thankful that I have these tools and these things to fall back on and rely on, because if I did not, then I would be worse off than I am now. And I would probably, you know, be like Jonah, still in a storm, still, you know, trying to figure it out. And we need to be like Jonah and call to the Lord and talk to him and seek him always. And that's one of my goals for 2025, is just to get closer to God, closer to, you know, Christ, you know, and in my hard times talk to him and quit trying to figure everything out myself. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Bible study. I hope that you guys were able to at least get something out of it. And just know that you are not alone in whatever you're facing. And you are a fighter, you are a warrior, and you are gonna do amazing things. I know you will. And so I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you like these kind of videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification button for all my future videos. And I will see everybody in the next one. Bye guys.